light I've had to turn on, woe is me, by like the actual light, because for some reason it won't pair with the Elgato control center anymore, even though I've like tried resetting it, I've tried doing this, I've tried doing that, like so many things just aren't working, and I don't know what's going on with it. I'm useless with figuring out tech problems, so waiting for the fiance to get home to figure that out for me, so we're just recording on the phone today. So yeah, it's a little bit different, but it should be fine. It should be fine. So let's just get straight into today's video. The first story that we're gonna read is by competitive-cap-4776. It's titled, "Am I the a-hole for calling my fiancé to grow up over his picky eating?" Now, I will always be biased about stuff like this because I was the fussiest eater growing up, and I got so much flack for it, even when like it didn't make sense, you know, like I was just minding my business. So I kind of already have my answer for this, but let's read it. My 27 female fiance, 29 male, is an extremely picky eater, and lately I've been feeling really frustrated with his extreme pickiness when it comes to food. He has a very limited diet and refuses to try anything outside of his comfort zone. He doesn't eat meat or vegetables. His diet typically consists of stuff like pizza, macaroni, cereal, and bread with the occasional fruit on the side. This has made it extremely frustrating whenever we eat out. If we're getting something to eat, we have to only go to places that serve anything he wants, which limits our options to mostly just fast food or pizza places. He's offered to go out to other restaurants with me, but he never ends up ordering anything when we do, and it's extremely embarrassing. He never eats anything I cook and typically just sticks to making his own food. This came to a head when we visited my parents last week. We sat down to eat together. They know he doesn't eat meat, so prepared a vegetable dish. When we were eating, he only ate a small portion of it, and I could tell from how little he had eaten he wasn't going to finish it. My parents asked what was wrong, and he thanked them for the food, but said he just wasn't that hungry and ended up just fiddling with the rest of it, and threw most of it out after dinner. I was mortified. On the way back, he wanted to stop and get food, and I kind of laid into him. I told him he embarrassed me, was rude to my parents to not eat the dish, and that he seriously needs to grow up and stop eating like a man-child. This isn't the first time we've had an argument about this, but it is the first time I've been this mad. Last summer we visited my extended family at my uncle's lake house, and he basically only ate frozen pizza and cereal the 3 days we were there, which caused issues since my nieces and nephews were there, and I felt it set a bad example for them. He's not their responsibility. They're not his responsibility. He got really hurt and hasn't talked to me much for the past few days. I feel bad, but at the same time I'm just tired of this. So am I the a-hole? I feel like I could have been nicer and more accommodating, but it's not like he has a medical condition that forces him to eat this way. I'm just so tired with him not even being willing to try and continue to eat like a 5-year-old. In my opinion, yes, you are the a-hole. Like, I'm sorry, but him being a picky eater is no harm in anyone. Everyone already knows beforehand that he's extremely fussy with what he eats, so like, they're prepared for it. he's visiting, like, give people a list of safe meals that he will definitely eat, or bring your own food or something like that. And I'm sorry, but he wasn't rude when he didn't finish the dinner. He tried his best. He ate some of it, you know, and then he said he wasn't hungry. He didn't say like, oh, it's disgusting, you know. He tried his best. I don't think you should ever judge somebody for being a picky eater, because they really can't help it. And sometimes it is a medical condition, like he could have like undiagnosed ARFID or whatever. So yeah, in my opinion, you are the a-hole. He's really not harming anyone with his habits. I understand a lot of people see it as childish, but I really don't understand why, because like picky eaters really don't want to be that way. Like, trust me, I wish I could just eat everything and anything. It would be so much easier for me. It would be so much easier for the people around me, but I will genuinely vomit if I try and eat certain things. And I have done so when as a kid, I was like forced to eat things that my parents knew I didn't like, and they'd like forced me to eat it, and I ended up like being sick everywhere. It's really not a choice. They're not being awkward. They genuinely don't like the food, and you can't change that. They can't change that. The top comment here says, "You're the a-hole. I have a general rule. Whenever there are two people and one of them is trying to control the other, the controlling one is almost always the arsehole. In this case, that's you. Now I get that your boyfriend is odd. That's different than being an arsehole. In fact, he seems to go out of his way not to make other people uncomfortable. He didn't insult your parents' food. He didn't try to control how they eat or what they prepare. That is the opposite of being an arsehole. He sounds like a good person, odd but good. Now, to be clear, I wouldn't like this in a partner either. I might belt the partner. This is all too much for me. I'm out. That's not arsehole behaviour. That's figuring out what works for you. It's your controlling behaviour and attitude that makes you an a-hole." Yeah, literally that. Like, if you knew this was something that you struggled with from the beginning and it bothered you that badly, you shouldn't have continued the relationship so far ahead, knowing it's something that can't really change. And someone else said, not to mention he cooks his own food, so it doesn't affect her. And then they said, honestly, I wonder if he's on the spectrum or has ARFID. So, in my opinion, and in Reddit's opinion, apparently, they are the a-hole in this situation, but I do understand a lot of people get frustrated with picky eaters, but just try and remember that we don't choose to be that way, and it's really frustrating for us too. Okay, let's do this one. This one, honestly, low-key seems racist just from the title. Like, what the hell? It's by 6767 Nana or Nina. It's titled, "Am I the a-hole for making my stepdaughter speak in English around my wife and I? I, 39 male, and my wife, 36 female, have been married for 4 years and have 4 kids, 16 female, my stepdaughter from wife's previous relationship, and 3 of our own, 6 female, 4 female, and 1 male. This may seem like a non-issue, but I fear it's damaging my stepdaughter and I's relationship. My wife's daughter is half Brazilian and she speaks fluent Portuguese, while my wife and I only speak English. My wife understands a bit of Portuguese. She no longer sees her biological father for legal reasons, so it's just me. Whenever she calls her family back home in Brazil, she always speaks in Portuguese in her room. I do not understand anything of what she says. Same thing whenever her family comes around mine. They speak only in Portuguese, since her family can only speak a little English, but they do comprehend it. I have a big issue with this due to the fact I don't know what or who they're talking about. They could be talking shit about me, my wife, or literally anything. I brought this up to my wife and she sees no problem with it. She wants our daughter to stay consistent with her native language, since we only speak English in our house. I tried bringing it up to her at dinner where she lashed out on me, saying there's no reason she should stop speaking Portuguese. She says that it's a part of who she is and she doesn't want to lose her level of Portuguese, since she struggled a bit to communicate already due to her only speaking it with her family. She says it's not her fault that we don't speak or understand any Portuguese. She will continue to speak in Portuguese as she pleases, and how it's unfair to her family. My wife has always told her that she should use her language to her advantage and to help others if they are in need. She used that against me as well. My second daughter, 6 female, is also tired of her speaking Portuguese to my youngest son, 1 male. Stepdaughter says she just wants him to understand a little bit of it so she can have someone to connect to in her native tongue. We are not talking right now and have not been for 2 nights. She is very upset. I'm not sure how to fix this. I need tips and I don't want this to ruin what we have. Edit, when I say she calls her family back home, I only have a problem with it whenever it's after we argue. When we argue, she goes to her room and then calls them, and I know they're talking about the situation. This is insane. Yes, you are the a-hole, I'm sorry. But what on earth? She has every right to speak her language whenever or wherever she pleases. Like, you're saying you have a problem with her speaking to people after you argue. It's like that makes it feel like you want it to be isolated, like it's good for kids or anyone to have somebody else to reach out to and to offload their feelings and thoughts about, you know. Like, it's good for her to be able to talk to her family after you guys argue and get her frustrations and emotions out and talk about the situation. It's not a secret. Families argue all the time. If you're that bothered about her telling people about your argument, then that makes me kind of suspicious that you're actually mistreating her, because why do you want this argument to sort of be a secret? Or if it's because you said earlier on he's worried that they'll be talking shit about him and his family. Why do you care? Why do you care? Do you know what? Most kids at some point will talk shit about their family or their parents because they're angsty and they're upset and they're angry that they you know, haven't got what they wanted. So many kids will at some point talk shit about their parents, their step-parents. It may be a bit unpleasant, but it's a part of growing up. It's a natural part of life, to be honest. People get angry, they say things that either they do mean at the time, they don't. It doesn't matter. Move on. Why are you lingering on what a teenager's saying? And then saying like, where was it? Let me see. Just the whole thing of not wanting them to speak Portuguese in your house because you're scared that they're talking bad about you and your family. Like, it's I don't know if you would call it racism, but it definitely seems either racially charged or racially rooted in the way of, like, a lot of the time if you'll watch documentaries or films or TV shows, especially back from like from further back in time and stuff, whether whether it's African, Spanish, like Portuguese, anything, like they don't like people saying anything that isn't in English, and a lot of the time those types of people seem like they only just about tolerate these other groups of people, and then like them speaking their language is what pushes them over the edge, so I'm so bad at explaining my mind, but yeah, I really wish I could get what I'm trying to say. I've always been so bad at putting what I'm thinking into words, but it seems, I'm not saying he's racist, but subconsciously this could be like racially rooted, is what I'm saying. But yeah, I don't like it. I definitely think he's the a-hole here. If you're really that, like, what is it with people and having a paranoia that as soon as someone speaks in another language, they think it's about them and they think they're shit talking them? Like, it seems to be such a common thing, and I don't understand it. Like, why does your mind automatically go there? I really don't understand it. And then, it's also like, if you're really that worried that you can't speak Portuguese and you can't understand, why not make the effort to learn then? I'm pretty sure that the stepdaughter would be ecstatic if anybody in this family at least tried to learn Portuguese so that they could have a little back and forth, even if it was a really basic conversation. She would be so happy. She said that she's trying to teach the youngest since he's really young, and it's kind of easy to teach young kids things. She's trying to teach him like a couple words, couple phrases, so that she has someone else to like speak to in her native language, and that makes me feel really sad that nobody else is trying. Like, the kids, I understand they're young, but the stepdad and especially the mother, that makes me a bit sad. I understand that learning a language is very difficult. It is. It's not easy, but I don't know. I feel like they should put the effort in, because I think it would make the 16-year-old very happy, and it's the best way to get around this strange paranoia that they have, in my opinion. Let's see what the comments say. The top comment says, "You're the a-hole. No one has to change their language, let you into a conversation just because you have an irrational fear. It's about you. The solution is for you to learn at least some Portuguese. That way when you are eavesdropping on her phone calls, you will know when she tells them, 'I think my stepdad is spying on my calls.'" That's hilarious. And then the person underneath said, "It's also extremely sweet that she loves her little brother and wants to speak Portuguese with him eventually. I don't understand why OP is framing that as a bad thing. Most people would be excited that their toddler is learning another language and that their stepchild and son have a good relationship." Yeah, literally. Someone said that he's like a cartoon evil stepfather. She's having private conversations that are none of your business. Yeah. You're the a-hole. Having a second language is a huge asset and also a part of her identity. Asking her not to speak it is dumb. You should be encouraging her and supporting her, not banning her language. When colonists would invade countries in the past, they would ban the native language. Think about that. You need to apologise and start learning Portuguese. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. It seems like all of Reddit seems to agree that he's the a-hole on that one, which makes me feel glad. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do this one. It's by remote_emphasis 7320. Am I the a-hole the a-hole for not letting my 19-year-old daughter's 20-year-old boyfriend, homeless, live with us. For context, his dad kicked him out because he didn't want to help with contributing to the household. I think he wanted $500 a month. The boyfriend works full-time and goes to school. Boyfriend has family in Florida and doesn't want to leave due to going to school. He asked to stay with us until November and I said no. I like my own space and peace. I feel he and his father need to talk and get an agreement, or he needs to move back to Florida with his mum and family. He is not my responsibility. Am I the a-hole? There's an update, but we'll read it after discussing just this original post, which is quite short, but it's straight to the point, I guess. I don't think you're the a-hole at all. No matter what the situation of them being homeless was, like whether it was because they ran away or because of abuse or because they just didn't want to be there, no matter the circumstance of it, as sucky and upsetting as it is, it's not your responsibility to look after this kid and to take in this kid. You know, that's what his family is for. That's what things like social services are for. I know it's not an amazing option, it's not a good place to be, but at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility, and I don't blame anyone that wouldn't want to be put in that situation and that would say no to that, especially because in this instance it's not something like, oh, his parents beat him and kicked him out. It's nothing like that. It's he doesn't want to pay towards the house, which I can understand, especially as like a young person. It can maybe feel a bit unfair, especially 500. I don't know about in America, but yeah, that would be quite a lot just to stay with your parents. So I can understand being frustrated and not wanting to pay that much and feeling like, you know, your parents are your parents, you know, they shouldn't charge you for rent. I understand that, but this isn't a thing of like he's been kicked out because his parents are evil. It's he has the means to pay a bit of money, which seems to be a common thing in a lot of places. It's even pretty common here in England. He just doesn't want to pay it. He has the means to, he just doesn't want to. So it's the thing of like, he needs to understand that if he can't afford his own apartment or something, then that's his best bet, just paying the money to his dad, you know. There's nothing else that he can do, because it's nobody's responsibility to house him for free, or to house him at all, you know. Yeah, no, that's what his family's for. I agree, he either needs to go to his mum in Florida or pay the 500 that his dad wants him to pay. Okay, we'll read the update and then we'll read the comments. Update, thank you all for validating what I was already feeling. I'm going to respond to the comments. Everyone has been supportive and I didn't think I'd get this many responses, so I appreciate you all. More context, my daughter has an attitude now, but okay, whatever. She is not required to pay bills in my home, just saved $100 a month for herself. She works part-time. I've never asked her for a dime, as she's basically still a teenager. I told her if she wants to be with him, that's fine, but she'll be homeless as well. She shut up, which is fine. If she chooses that, I can't stop her. This guy has been working and says he's saving money, but can't help his dad out. That requires help on bills. He can't stay with me for free. I don't feel bad now knowing he won't help me either, and will just freeload and tell me I'll give you something when he gets paid. Hell no, go talk to your father is what I told him. Put your pride to the side or be outside. This has nothing to do with me. He needs his family to be involved, and I'm not the mediator for the nonsense. Fair enough. I do hope though that he didn't mean that she can't date him, otherwise she's kicked out. I think he means like if she wants to go be with him, as in live with him in quotation marks, we'll say, like support him like that, then she can live on the streets with him, but he's not staying in their house is what I think he means. Otherwise I think that's a bit harsh to try and put rules like you can't date him otherwise you're out the house. But just from how he talks and what he says, I don't think he would say that. Someone said the easiest solution is to ask him to pay a rent of at least $500 a month, then he will be caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. That's hilarious. He would probably take it because the $500 at OB's house includes free sex and pretending to be a grown adult. Jesus Christ. A third of the household expenses, a third of the mortgage, a third of the utilities, a third of the food. That is, if it is just you, your daughter and boyfriend, adjust depending on who all lives there. He may soon discover that $500 a month isn't that much after all. You should never move in with a partner because you need a place to stay. If they aren't ready to live together, they shouldn't do it. What if he's an ass to her and she doesn't want to dump him because he'll be homeless? You're helping the two of them avoid a lot of trouble, not the a-hole. That's a really, really fantastic point that I didn't even think of. Yeah, she may feel stuck in a relationship if they move him in, which is never good. I won't contribute to his house, so let me come not contribute to your house. Hell of an argument. That's hilarious. But yeah, it seems like everyone else agrees, not the a-hole for that one. Yeah. That's really funny. Some of those comments are pretty funny, I'm just scrolling through them now. But yeah, it seems like the best thing for him is to go back to his dad and pay that $500 a month. But yeah, that's the last story for tonight, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you had any different opinions to me or whatever in the comments for any of these stories. It'll be really interesting to hear like maybe some different thoughts or perspectives, or maybe if you caught some things that I didn't catch or didn't think about. But yeah, I really hope that you did enjoy the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe.